Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to be comparing the Honda CRV Hybrid to the Subaru Outback XT. And we're going to see who makes a better SUV. Before we get in this video, I'm going to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Ken Garf Honda here in Salt Lake, and then to the Nate Wade Subaru also here in Salt Lake for giving me some time with both the vehicles. I'll include a link to both their websites in the description down below. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood of the Subaru is a turbocharged 2.4 liter flat 4-cylinder that goes through a CVT. Average fuel economy is 25 mpg. Power outputs are 260 horsepower and then 277 pound-feet of torque. Now at the Honda we have a 2-liter 4-cylinder paired to a hybrid system and an eCVT. This is Honda's premium powertrain, just like that Subaru's powertrain is its premium for itself. Anywho, average fuel economy with this is 37 mpg, so quite a bit more. Power output's 204 horsepower, and then the torque is over 200 pound-feet. So not quite as much horsepower or torque, but a lot more fuel economy. Now, before we move forward with this comparison, I do want to mention if you're going to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So when it comes to styling, it's significantly different. So the Subaru has gone for a station wagon type style, and so you can see how it's kind of more rounded off on the front end. You still have very sharp looking headlights and all of that, but notice how it looks more car-like with the front end, whereas with the Honda it's a lot more upright, a lot boxier, kind of more SUV type style, and especially with the headlights and the grille, you can see that really shows the boxiness. I noticed the Honda does not have fog lights, but there's the front ends. Now with the Subaru, our tire wheel setup is 225 by 60 by 18. The Honda, it is 235 by 60 by 18, so the Honda has slightly wider tires. Now I picked out two cars that both have kind of like a blacked out theme, so you can see the Honda with the wheels blacked out. Same thing with the Subaru. And then notice with the Subaru, big chunky fender flares. With the Honda, they're a lot more conservative, that's for sure. Both of them have blacked out mirror caps. And then again, you can see with the Subaru how it's kind of like a little bit of a lower roofline compared to the Honda, and it just kind of slopes back there in that kind of station wagon appearance. Now here's a side profile of the CRV, and then here is the Outback, and that's where you can see again that station wagon appearance. And now this leads us into the cargo areas. So here's a quick look at the Subaru's got a cargo cover. You've got tabs on either side to throw down these seats, and it's massive back here. It's really spacious. And if we compare that to the Honda's actually a smaller vehicle, and so it does in fact have a smaller cargo area. And that's kind of the weird thing about this comparison is they're not in the same size category, but we'll go over that a little bit more later. A little bit more vertical space in the Honda though with that higher roofline. Anyways, both of them are automatic with the hatches, so you just press the button and that lowers them down. And then look at the style with the Honda, those crazy vertical tail lights. Really cool looking. And then the Subaru again slopes back, and this is where you can see again kind of like SUV styling versus station wagon. Now in the back of the Honda, good legroom, got some vents back here, USB ports, and yeah, this is pretty nice with the trim. The roof line does come down a little bit because of the sunroof. Almost forgot the door panels got nice kind of like appearance with the trim. This is soft touch down below, but yeah, it's pretty cool looking. Now in the back of the Subaru, it's actually pretty similar in terms of the legroom and all of that. Storage pocket, heated seats, USBs, all of that. And then you can see with the door panel on this one. And these seats are a lot shoutier, the gray and the neon and everything. So it looks like all the extra space though in the Outback must be in the cargo area. And then same thing, sunroof kind of making the roof come down a little bit. And this leads us to the front of the CRV. Pretty cool gauge cluster, look at that. Digital element and everything, you got that screen there, you can see a bunch of different bits of info. Nice soft touch here on the top of the door panel, you got stuff like memory seats, all of your window controls and all of that. Solid sound with the close. Automatic with the hatch there, and then you got all of the controls and steering wheel, including our adaptive cruise control with our lane centering, paddle shifters here on the back. And then if we pop it into reverse, backup camera there. And then I like the vents down below, but that's the rest of the infotainment system. Pretty quick response time, got some physical controls on it as well. Dual zone climate, heated seats, wireless phone charging pad with this. Got your drive mode select, hill descent control as well. You can see brake hold and park as well. Shifter for that CVT, and then this is pretty cool. Almost dropped the camera there. We got the stitching here on the seats and all that. Pretty fancy. And then we do have a sunroof in the Honda as well. And in the Subaru, pretty cool. So more analog with the gauge cluster compared to the Honda. That is something to note. And then nice trim all over the door panel. All of the window controls are automatic, which is another cool feature. And then practical controls on the steering wheel, just like the Honda. Adaptive cruise control and all of that. Heated steering wheel button on the steering wheel too. Paddle shifters here on the back. And then you've got a double camera situation in this. So we have the reverse camera. Then I can also press the button and that'll pop up the front camera as well. This infotainment system's bigger. I think I prefer the Subarus. They're both easy to use, but this is just, I don't know, physical buttons for the climate on either side and all that. I think it's pretty cool. Heated seats, dual zone climate. It's got everything that you'd want. And you can see the shifter here for the CVT. I don't know if I said CVT in the other one. I meant eCVT if I just said CVT. Regardless, you can see there with the stitching and everything, which is pretty cool. And then got some cup holders here. Nice with the center console. And then of course got a sunroof. And yeah, the seats in the Subaru, again, they shout with that neon stitching. Look at that. Just crazy. I like the gray trim though, and these seats are a little bit more comfortable. And then this leads us to pricing. The Honda stickers for about $40K, and then the Subaru stickers for about $41K. So about a $1,000 price difference. Let's see which one drives the best. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility of the hood, both the mirrors. Here's the rear. And Outback away. The Onyx Edition is a pretty cool car. It's similarly equipped to like a Wilderness, but it's less money, about $3 grand less. When I say similarly equipped, I'm talking about like the interior options and all of that. And so I think that for people that are not going to be off-roading their Outbacks, which is most people, if you're being honest with yourself, then it looks cool and it gives you a lot of the cool features as well. Love Subaru suspension. You know, independent suspension doesn't necessarily do the best over bumps. I know some people argue with me about that, but it can be kind of harsh, right? Because when I say independent suspension with a unibody, because you can have like an impact and it doesn't transfer across like a solid axle. So it happens on one side and then it just goes straight into the unibody and it can feel harsh. But Subaru's done a really good job with the transfer of force with this car. I think it's really cool what they've done here. This engine's great. It's got good torque, smooth. I think this is, I said this before, this is the engine to get in the Outback as the XT. It's a little bit more money, but you'll thank me later. Your payment might be a little bit higher, but that naturally aspirated four-cylinder is just not enough power in a car this size. Whereas this is a good sweet spot. But yeah, I mean, nice ride. Like, it just, the thing about the Outback is it just drives well. It's not particularly exciting in any way, but I don't think cars need to be. It's a weird thing that people think cars need to be exciting to drive. It's like, no, they just need to drive well. They need to get the job done. And with this turbocharged engine, it does that. It definitely does that. Let's make sure nobody's coming. Okay, we're good. But yeah, that is the Outback Onyx Edition with the turbo. What I would consider the Outback sweet spot. And let's set off in the CRV Hybrid and see if this is better than that Outback XT. I know some people might say this is a weird comparison to do because technically the CRV competes against the Forester, and I agree with you, but Google search results do not agree with you. One of the most looked up comparisons with SUVs, crossovers in this segment, whatever you want to say, is CRV versus Outback. There's a ton of people doing that comparison, doing that research. So yeah, I figured it was worth it to do a comparison with them. Good suspension. So going over the bumps and everything. See how the powertrain is. So it doesn't have that turbo shove, but super quick, super quick with the transitions. Just smooth, generally speaking. But yeah, I will say it's not quite as quick, which is okay. Yeah, it's a different drive. With this, you really do kind of focus more on the, I guess, the low end, whereas the Subaru you can kind of get up into it a little bit, get those turbos spooling. This, it's all about low end. Which makes sense, that's most hybrids. Yeah, the Subaru is definitely quicker. At least it feels that way. It's also turbocharged and more high elevation, whereas this is the hybrid side. The electric side of things does not lose power at higher elevation, but the naturally aspirated 4-cylinder does. But it's not slow. It's good power. I like how it drives. Something to note, Subaru is going to be coming out with some hybrids, so we'll see how that goes in the future. But as for this comparison, man, this is a tough one. I feel like this is such an apples to oranges comparison, even though, like I said, search results show that this is what people are looking up. They are looking up CRV versus Outback. The Outback, like I said, has a little bit more cargo space, so if you want more cargo space, sorry, dry throat there. But yeah, if you want more cargo space, CRV, Outback. Fuel economy, right? CRV, it's better fuel economy. I think I like how the Outback drives a little bit more. It's a bigger car though, so it's kind of, it could be the turbocharged engine too. But yeah, the fuel economy rating with this is very appealing. Very appealing. So it's kind of a toss-up for me. I think it depends on what a person's values in a car. Wish we could have like an Outback hybrid. That would be cool. That would win for me. If it was a good, if it's a reliable hybrid, I need to put that little asterisk. Got to be reliable. But yeah, let me know which one you'd go with, CRV or Outback. But I don't think you can go wrong. It just depends. Do you want fuel economy? Do you want space and power?